Right then, I've picked a very windy day to do this, so hopefully you can hear some of what I'm saying. This is a walk around video for a Lexus GS300 and it's the SEL model, top of the range car. Finished in what I believe is Canterbury blue with a silver leather interior. Looks absolutely stunning. Just 69,000 miles recorded. Lovely service history and in fabulous condition. Front of the car, lights and lenses completely clear and intact, no cracks or condensation in those. Bonnet itself, remarkably clean. I can't see a stone chip of any note on there at all. Near side, passenger side, wonderfully smooth in the panel work. It really is very clean indeed. Nice to see a full set of Michelin tyres fitted on the car. All of them got good tread as well, by the way. There was a tiny little indentation somewhere on here. I mean, it is minuscule, so just there. It is absolutely tiny, but it is the whole point of the video is to pick up on anything I possibly can, no matter how trivial it may seem. And around the back of the car, obviously the car's got camera and sensors, so not much of an excuse to give it a bash. And around the back of the car, generally clean, just the odd very light mark. Offside, driver's side, again, just for car of its age, I mean, it is in remarkable condition. So externally, it said, you know, given the fact that the car is 12 years old, it looks like a car that's in half its age rather. It said there always will be the odd tiny little mark, the brush marks, that kind of thing, but there's nothing that stands out. So coming to the boot area now, beautifully finished inside as you'd expect from Lexus, and again in very nice condition. Coming to the back of the car now, you can see this lovely interior colour, and it's been kept absolutely beautifully. The leatherwork looks absolutely, I mean, almost unused. That's how it looks back here. It's absolutely sumptuous as well. Let's go to the passenger side. Again, all wonderfully clean. There is a full set of Lexus mats, of course. And the passenger seat there, again, showing hardly any wear at all. Coming to the driver's side again, driver's seat again is in absolutely super condition. So inside the car now, absolutely stunning interior in here, and it is in just simply wonderful condition. You see there, sat nav working exactly as it should. If I pop the car into reverse, get that lovely clear gridded parking camera, but it is, so the video quite often will not do justice, and that is certainly the case here. Heated and cooled seats, you can see there, they all work absolutely perfectly. If we come to the dashboard itself, the binnacle, 69,015 miles, and there's no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Steering wheel looks and feels absolutely as new. Just to show you down here, you get this extra little pad, if I can go under there for you, with all the controls, again all working exactly as intended. So finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test on a particularly filthy, horrible day, but there we go. This is for a Lexus GS300 and it's the SEL model. This particular car is registered ML08VND and mileage showing at 69,009 miles. The reason we do these videos is basically so that if anyone's looking online in the advert, they actually get to see that very car in operation, and we feel it's really important. Unfortunately, we know to our own cost just how frustrating it can be to go and see a car which looks really good in the description and in the photographs provided, only to get there and drive it to find out that it's got a fundamental issue which shows up whilst test driving the car. So that's why we do it. It's also done on part of the road test route any prospective buyer would go on, and the reason for that is then it would hopefully be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car in question, I'll say straight away, I'm really biased. I adore these cars. I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful era of car. Engine starts absolutely instantly and settles to completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Temperature gauge just under a half, which is exactly where it should be on one of these cars. The engines are beautiful. It is a wonderful piece of engineering, very, very quiet and smooth in operation, as you'd expect of a Lexus. But when it is heard, it just sounds absolutely beautiful. It's got a lovely soundtrack to it, but it's always muted. It's never coarse. It suits the character of the car. It gives you all the performance you realistically need in a car. But a wonderful, wonderful engine in every single way. What I love about them is that it is a very tractable engine. It's obviously quite a hefty car, so it needs some hauling along. But the car's got plenty of guts, plenty of power at the top end to go with it. So, but you put your foot down to go, and it just picks up beautifully. But so quiet. It really is wonderful. Engine then feeds through into the automatic gearbox, which, like the engine, is almost perfection. You just don't really feel any gear changes. It's just so smooth in operation. And what I'm looking for in road test of any car, regardless of how good their reputation is, on automatic, is just to make sure that the gear changes are smooth. There's no delays or thunks when you're engaging drive or reverse, and there's nothing at all. It's exactly as it should be. But it matches the engine perfectly. They've chosen the ratios very carefully, obviously, to extract the best in terms of performance but also economy out of the engine. You do have the facility on them, if you so wish, to go into a manual or sequential mode. So just pull the gear lever to the right here. It's now selected me 4th gear. Push it forward to go up the gears. And it's a 6-speed gearbox, so go all the way up there and then back down, 5th, 4th, etc. And you do it at any time. Basically, it's set there, so if you want to do an overtake but don't want the engine to change up halfway through, it's available for you. Hardly ever used, in all honesty, because the auto box is just so good in its own right. Steering of the car, absolutely fantastic on these cars, beautifully weighted, tracks really nice and true and straight. There's no vibrations at all at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, but it's a very fluid feeling steering. Don't get me wrong, this is not a sports car, far from it, but the steering, the weighting, it makes the car feel what it is, kind of a glider of a car, and it suits it perfectly. But it's it's accurate and precise, so that's the one thing I would say about it. Chassis of the car, obviously set up for comfort, because it is a wonderfully comfortable and compliant ride that it gives you. However, it does flow through the corners very nicely, but as I always say, and I'm honest enough to say it, if you're looking for an out-and-out sports car in this category, you would go for something like a BMW, because they're set up more for that kind of driving. However, they don't offer this kind of ride, so it just totally depends on what you're looking for from a car. But there's not many cars can travel hundreds of miles as effortlessly as one of these vehicles. What I'm also looking for on road test, by the way, with regard to suspension, it's just signs of any kind of knocking noises or clunking coming from underneath that shouldn't be there, but there's nothing at all. It's lovely and quiet. It's worth pointing out, by the way, that the car will be, hopefully tomorrow, going off for an independent MOT, so all these things will be checked. Brakes on the car, just get around the corner, make sure no one's directly behind me, give them a thump, but nice, solid, powerful brake pedal, pulls the car up nice and straight and true, and no nasty sort of rumblings or pulsing through the brake pedal either, so all exactly as it should be. Coming to the interior, it's just, I always say it, but it is completely true. Build quality, and the way these things are put together is astonishing. I'm sat in a car that's 12 years old, and it might as well be new, because there's literally not a squeak, not a buzz, nothing from the interior. It is beautifully put together. It's also really nicely presented with the sort of silver trim and the lighter lower sections of the dash. It's an interior I've always loved on this car. The pure blacks can be, like all pure black interiors, quite, on days like today, quite gloomy affairs, whereas this adds a sort of natural light into the vehicle, which is lovely, but it's also very easy to keep clean. Just wipe it clean. But a wonderful interior, because it does, it frustrates me enormously when you hear the same garbage coming out of the the motoring press. When they compare these to particularly the German competitors, it's always the Audis, the BMWs. They're the best built ones. They're the ones that get the most satisfying thunks when shut doors. That's not build quality. That's an impression of quality. Build quality is how something lasts over a long period of time. Many years, not 2 or 3 years while it's under warranty, but many years thereafter. And this is just a beautifully put together, and its competitors generally don't feel as tight as these do at this kind of age of mileage, unless they're absolutely lavished with attention. The rest of the interior is just, again, wonderfully simple to operate. Obviously SEL's top of the range, so you get things like the big screen sat nav there with the big rear camera. You got the Mark Levinson stereo. It's absolutely brilliant, because it's such a quiet car that if you like your music, the sound reproduction's amazing. You can hear the finest little detail in there as well. Beautifully done. You got a dual zone climate control system, so different temperatures side to side. Air conditioning pumps out absolutely ice cold air that's already been checked. You've got heated and cooled seats, and again, sat in it and checked it, all working exactly as they should. Then directly in front of me, you've got this beautifully presented binnacle directly here, which has got, the displays are basic, they're all you need, but beautifully done. Steering wheel, which feels absolutely superb and handy, because it's leather bound at the holding position, if you like, and then you've got kind of the wood top and bottom as well. It feels absolutely superb and handy. It really does. It feels like new to hold. As I said at the start of the video, the point of it literally is just to show the car in operation, but to feedback on any issues there may be with the car, of which there's nothing at all. It drives absolutely perfectly in every sense. I've owned a couple of them, so I know how they should drive, what a good one feels like and what a bad one feels like. But this is a beautiful car in every single way. As always though, if you've got any questions about the car, don't hesitate, do give us a call.